Welcome, I'm Brittany, and it's great that you're here to join me for your yin practice today. This practice is going to focus on the 6 movements of the spine, and the 6 movements of the spine are when we turn to the right, so twisting to the right is 1, twisting to the left is 2, lateral flexion, reaching up and over to the right is 3, 4 is to the other side. 5 is rounding through the spine or spinal flexion. And the last one is back bending or spinal extension. So every shape, every pose that we move through, there's going to be some focus on the spine. Of course, we'll also be getting into a little bit of the hips, but each one we move through, we're going to get into all of the little joints of the spine. We're going to get started laying on our back. If you have 2 blocks and a bolster, that's awesome. If not, you should be able to make do with 1 block. We'll give options. All right, so coming down onto our back. Getting comfortable. And we'll take one hand, place it on our heart, one hand on our belly. And we'll just take a few breaths together, just allowing ourselves to arrive. Oh, and maybe you've had a really busy day, and this is the first time that you've slowed down, made the commitment to get quiet and still. You might like to close your eyes, allowing all of the muscles and skin around your eyes to soften. And the softness around the eyes, that spreads down into the cheeks and the jaw. And the softness continues down through the neck and into the shoulders. And allowing the whole body to feel so heavy. And the back of the skull resting, weighted on the floor. Now we'll bring our awareness to our breath. And just notice how the hands on the belly, the heart, they rise as you breathe in. And they lower as you breathe out. And just finding a breath that feels steady and rhythmic, not forced. And on our next inhale, we'll inhale the arms up overhead. We'll slowly start to walk the legs and the feet over to the right. Both hips stay rooted onto the floor. You can start to wiggle and walk the torso and the arms over to the right. So we're creating this C shape or banana shape with the body. You're welcome to stay right here, head falling in any comfortable direction. Or you could take the left ankle and hook it on top of the right ankle. And first shape, we're getting into the lateral flexion of the spine. And we're also getting into all of the thick fascia along the outer part of the left leg, the IT band. We're opening to the left rib cage. And as we settle into these shapes for 3 to 5 or more minutes, just allow your awareness to rest in the breath. Quietly becoming curious about the sensations in the body and in the mind. Now slowly bring the head back to center. Unhook the ankles if they're hooked, walking the legs, the arms and the torso back to center. Bending the knees. We'll reach the arms down, knees come in towards the chest, and just let the legs rock side to side. Resisting the urge to move fast, resisting the urge to kind of get on with it. See if you can just slow everything down, moving slower than you think. And then releasing the legs, we'll bring them back out long. Inhale the arms up overhead, starting to walk the legs to the left. Hip bones stay rooted. The arms start to crawl over to the left. You could hook the ankles. The head falls in a comfortable direction for the neck. And as we settle in, imagine that you could send the breath all the way from the bottom of the right foot all the way up the outer or lateral side of the right body. Feeling the right rib cage expand on the breath in. And then exhaling, releasing stress, tension. Eventually the head rolls back to center. The legs, arms back to center. Reach through your fingers, reach through your toes. Inhale. Exhale, side out. Roll the wrists, the ankles. And bending the knees, we'll bring the soles of the feet to the floor, close to the bum. And then reaching for a block. We'll inhale, the hips lift, placing the block way down at the base of the spine. There's a flat little bone there called the sacrum, just resting the block there. Let your arms just comfortably lay by your sides. You can stay here with the knees bent, or you're welcome to walk the legs out. So this is going to intensify the back bend in the spine. It's going to get into the quads and hip flexors. Or if you like to make this more about the inner groin, you could let the soles of the feet come together and the knees splay out. So you can try each one on, see which one is speaking to you today in your body. One's not better than the other. And as we continue to observe what's going on in the body with curiosity, sometimes this curiosity allows us to see things in a non-judgmental way. Maybe we can see what's going on in the body and the mind as just being okay. Whatever's coming up is okay right now. soles of the feet make their way back onto the floor, close to the bum. Inhaling, the pelvis draws up, reaching under for the block, just moving it off to the side. And so slow, letting the pelvis land. It's normal to feel a little bit vulnerable in the lower back after that long hold. We'll bring the knees back into the chest. Give the legs a little squeeze. And we'll roll over just onto one side. Top hand helps to press you all the way up. So if you have 2 blocks, we'll bring them to the front of the mat. I like to offer those as an option as we move into melting heart. Option 1, we'll take our knees underneath our hips. If you have a blanket or even just rolling up your mat is nice if you have sensitive knees. Extending the arms out in front of you. And then just like the name of the pose sounds, you let your heart melt towards the floor. Now, this might be where you would like to stay. If you have 2 blocks, you could place the blocks beside each other and then placing the elbows on the blocks. Bending at the elbows, the hands could come to the back of the neck. This variation with the bent elbows creates a little bit more opening through the shoulders and through the triceps. So we're moving the back bend a little bit higher up in the spine. If there's any pinching or burning sensation, tingling sensation through the arms, you might have to widen the arms or just come out of this completely and rest in child's pose. Always listening to your body first. You'll slowly come out of this and just allowing the hips to come back towards the heels, letting the knees come out wide, and letting yourself rest back into child's pose. Letting the arms be soft. You might even like to take your arms and reach them behind you. Releasing any tension you might be holding on to through the arms, through the neck, and through the shoulders. Allowing the hips to be heavy. And the belly is soft. We'll bring our hands just to the outer edges of the mat to help press ourselves all the way up. And we'll shift the weight of the hips to one side. Just adjusting the mat or the blanket if you've had things folded. And we're going to come into caterpillar, just seated forward fold with the legs close together. Inhale, tall spine, shoulders roll down and back. And on the exhale, hinging at the hips, allowing the torso to come forward. If you have a blanket, you have sensitive knees, you could roll that up, place it under the knees. You might just like to make little fists with your hands. They could go right underneath the knees. If it feels okay for your neck, you could let the chin round in. And you'll notice that the angle of the pelvis is going to change the targeted areas or where you feel the most sensation. So if the pelvis, tilts forward, you could be feeling this a little bit more through the backs of the legs and the hamstrings. And if the pelvis tilts back, it releases a little through the hamstrings, but allows you to round more through the spine. You could be feeling this more through all of the erector spinae muscles that line the vertebrae of the spine. So just small little changes in the tilt of the pelvis can change the targeted areas of sensation. for the next few breaths. We'll start to rebuild the spine. Imagining each vertebrae stacking one on top of the other so that the shoulders and the head come up last. And when you get to the top, let's just stay seated, just like this. Just noticing how the body feels after we've been rounded forward for quite some time. Relishing in the quiet and the stillness. Opening the eyes, we'll bring the palms behind us, bending the knees, letting the knees fall from side to side. And we'll come into another forward fold. This time we'll take the legs wide. It doesn't have to be aggressively wide. And just relaxing through the legs. Inhaling, really tall spine, shoulders relax. And on the exhale, hinging forward again. Taking your time to find your edge. And then when you find that edge, just backing things off. And again, if the knees are sensitive, the fists can come underneath the knees. If you're like me and you have a blanket underneath you, you could roll that. If you have blocks and you're able to come very far forward, then you could always stack them, resting the forehead. This yin practice is a very nice complement to our more yang activities. It can be very challenging if you're someone who's type A or always on the go, to slow down, to give yourself permission to relax. To move from doing to just being. But the more we come back to this practice of stillness and softness, the more we might notice that a sense of calm and less reactivity spills over into the rest of our lives. The next few breaths, we'll make our way up. The journey is slow, steady. And again, as the head lands, we'll just close the eyes, allowing the spine to feel tall, the shoulders moving away from the ears. We'll use the hands to help bend the knees one at a time, leaning back onto the hands. The knees fall side to side. And from here, we're going to come all the way down onto our backs. We'll hug the knees in. And we'll take the feet back down onto the floor. Taking the right ankle and placing it onto the left thigh. You could stay right here in this figure 4 shape. This might be enough of a opening through the hip. Or if you like, you can reach the hands down, holding on to the left thigh. The right knee draws in towards the body. You could be using your right elbow to press the knee away. Or if you're like me, I like to make this as passive as possible. I'm just letting everything fall towards me. The shoulders relaxing onto the floor. No grip through your face. Allowing the spine to feel grounded, rooted, long on the floor. And now we'll take our spine into the final movements. We're going to allow the grip from the hands to release, just letting the left foot land. And the left knee, right foot, just roll over to the left as we twist the spine. You might like to have your left hand come down and hold on to the right ankle. If this position with the legs is uncomfortable, or you feel like there's too much effort to stay here, you could just take that right knee and stack it on top of the left. That's great. You can let the head just fall in a comfortable direction, the right arm by your side or reaching out into a T shape. If the mind has started to wander, it's very normal. So come on back to the present moment by following the sensations in the body, by following the pattern of breath. You'll slowly unravel the spine. You'll draw the knees in. You'll take the soles of the feet back down to the floor. Left ankle comes to rest on the right thigh. You could stay right here, or to increase the feeling of the left hip opening, you can draw the right leg in towards you with your hands. Relaxing the upper body as much as possible. Relaxing all of the muscles of the outer left hip. You've got nothing to do. You've got nowhere to be. You're just hanging out here right now, slowing everything down. We'll release the grip of the hands. Right foot lands. Option for the twist, just letting the left foot come onto the floor. You could hold on to the left ankle with your right hand. And the left arm out to the side. Or just stacking the left knee on top of the right. head rolls back to center. And the legs unwind. Knees draw in. I will move into corpse pose or shavasana. If you don't have a bolster or a blanket at home, that's fine. Just allow yourself to splay out, taking up lots of space. Or if there's a bolster available or a rolled up blanket, we'll take that behind us. I'll bring the hips right up to the edge of the bolster. We're just getting another back bend and heart opener. Letting the legs come out. Opening through the chest. So please take this time to truly rest. And let the breath rest in the softness of the body that we've just created. And as the breath rests in the body, let the mind rest in the breath. And the breath so easy and free. Just rock side to side. Inhale the arms up overhead, fingers, toes, spread and reach. We'll bend the knees and roll over onto one side. And we'll land a few breaths in a fetal position. We'll take our time pressing our way all the way up. We'll just come to a comfortable seat. And close the eyes. We'll just sit for a few breaths, allowing the spine to feel really tall, the crown reaching towards the ceiling. We'll take our hands to our heart center. And we'll close the practice by giving yourself a little bit of gratitude for showing up and spending this time to slow down and get quiet. Namaste.